Hi, my name's Saahir, and my project is on the Infinity Hotel. The Infinity Hotel revolves around one concept, which is infinity. Infinity was, quote unquote, discovered by John Wallace. He was born in the UK in the year 1616. So now let's actually talk what the Infinity Hotel actually is. It's not just some random hotel. It's a hotel which has an infinite number of floors and an infinite number of rooms and is capable of housing an infinite number of tourists at one time. And it's important to know that the Infinity Hotel in all the scenarios I'm going to be discussing is always full with an infinite number of tourists. There are three scenarios I'm going to be talking about in this project. The first one was when a finite number of guests come to check into the hotel. The second one is when an infinitely long bus filled with tourists want to check into the hotel. The third one is when an infinite number of infinitely long buses want to check into the hotel. Again, remember that the hotel's already full, but it has an infinite number of rooms. Alright, here is our first scenario. It's when a finite number of people want to check in. So in this example, 60 people want to check into the Infinity Hotel. A common misconception is people think you can just put them in the last available room, but since it's an infinite number of rooms, there's no last room. And also, since the hotel is infinitely full, if you can find an open room, it's already occupied. But there's still a way to fit these 60 people in. So what we're going to do is we're going to make every single person move up 60 rooms, as denoted in this formula, n plus 60. N means the current room number. So in this case, say n is 1. So 1 plus 60 would be 61. So room number 1 would move over to room number 61. Room number 2 would move over to room 62, and so on. So by this, we're basically pushing these people from 1 through 60 to higher numbers, and that's pushing like everyone else up to a higher number. And since there's an infinite number of rooms, you can create new rooms and create room for these 60 people who want to check in. Alright, so we're at our second scenario, which is when an infinitely long bus full of tourists wish to check into the already full Infinity Hotel. This problem can also be solved. So what we're going to do here is, since there's an infinite number of even numbers and an infinite number of odd numbers, if we move all of the current guests, if we move all of the current guests into even numbers, we'll create an infinitely number of odd numbers open for these people right here. So a way to make any number even is just to multiply by 2. So we have a formula 2n, where n is the current room number. So all of the current rooms, people who are taking, like all of the current rooms which filled with the current guests are times 2 will now all become even. And this creates an infinitely large number of odd number rooms. And here's just a diagram to show. So room 1 goes to 2, room 3 goes to 6, and here is how it works. 2 times 1 equals 2, 2 times 3 equals 6. Alright, here's our third and final scenario, which is the most complicated and complex scenario, as we have an infinite number of infinitely long buses filled with an infinite number of tourists who all want a room at the infinitely full and infinitely large Hotel Infinity. So the way we're actually gonna go about this is by using prime numbers. The reason we're using prime numbers is because luckily the set of prime numbers is infinite. So the number of prime numbers never ends, so we can use this to our advantage. So what we're going to do is we're going to assign the first prime number, which is 2, to the current guest in the hotel. So following this formula, 2 to the power of n, they will get their new assigned room. So the person who's in room 1, 2 to the power of 1 equals 2. This person in room 2, 2 to the power of 2 equals 4. The person in room 3 equals 6. So they're going to be moving from, if they're on room 2, they'd be moving to room 4. And that's only for the current guest. But we still have an infinite number of infinite buses. So how we're going to do this is we're going to move the base to the next prime number, not 2, since we already used 2 for the current guest. So we're going to use the number 3 for the first bus. And instead of room numbers for the n, for these buses onward, n is going to be the spot on the bus. So seat number 1, seat number 2, seat number 3, like that. So the first seat on the first bus would move to room 3 because 3 to the power of 1 equals 3. The second spot, 3 squared equals 9. Third spot, 27, and so on. So the third spot on the bus would go to room 27. Alright, so let's move to the second bus, which we need to make a new base, and the next prime number after 3 is of course 5. So the first spot on the second bus, 5 squared, 5 to the power 1 is 5. So the first person on the second bus would move to room 5. Second person, 25. Third person, 125. And the amazing thing is that by using the system of prime numbers, these room numbers are never gonna they're never going to repeat each other, so we don't have to worry about two people accidentally getting into the same room. So everyone on all of the buses and current guests will have their each individual room, and the third scenario is solved.